world. I'm coming to you live from my bedroom, and I'm here to do another story time video. So this is going to be the story of the time that some stranger broke in to the apartment next door while I was here listening and watching the whole thing. Okay, so before you ask yourself why didn't you do anything, just listen to the story, okay? 9 or 10 years ago, there were some people living in the apartment next door, like that used to live there. And it was this woman and her son. So the woman ended up leaving and she moved like down south or something. And she left the apartment with her son, who was like in his early 20s. We're going to call him D. He was living there by himself, and then his girlfriend used to stay with him a lot, but she wasn't living there. Her and I were friends until she just did some shit that I didn't like, and then, you know, I had to tell her about herself, and then we weren't friends after that. It was summertime. It's summertime, and I'm home minding my business. I was home by myself that day. I was here in this apartment. I was in the living room doing God knows what when I heard knocking. I heard knocking on the door. I thought that the knocking was on my door, so I went out and opened the door to investigate. When I opened the door, there's a guy there who looks like he's also like in his early 20s. I look at the guy and I was like, were you knocking on my door? So he gives me attitude and he's like,
I wasn't knocking on your door.
And I'm like, oh, well, it sounded like you were knocking on my door. That's why I opened the door to find out who was knocking on my right?
No, I'm knocking on this door. I'm knocking on this door.
So I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right, Papa, you got it. You weren't knocking on my door, so I'm going to close my door and I'm going to go back inside and mind my business, right? This is not what I said to him, but this is what I was thinking in my brain. What happens next? I come inside and I mind my damn business. I proceed to roll a and then I went out to my fire escape to smoke my Now, at this time on the fire escape, I had plants all throughout the fire escape. I had them on my fire escape, and I also had them on my neighbor's fire escape because he would let me put my shit out there because they never opened their windows or sat on the fire escape for any reason. So I had a couple of plants over there on that side too. While I'm rolling my mind you, the knocking is still going on. The guy is still knocking on this dude's door. Nobody seemed to be home. Nobody was opening the door, right? Okay, fine. So now I'm on the fire escape and I'm smoking my shit. And all of a sudden, like, I heard something from above me. And when I look up, I see the guy. When I look up, I see the guy coming down the ladder from the roof. So in New York City, there's, you know, ladders that lead up to the rooftop just in case there's a fire. Like on the fire escape, there's a ladder that is attached to the building and you can climb up the ladder to get to the roof. So this guy, since the dude from next door wasn't opening the door, he went in through the hallway. In the hallway, there's also a ladder that leads up to the roof. I'll put pictures or video footage in here so you can see what the I'm talking about. He went up through this ladder, okay, opened the door to the roof and went onto the roof and then climbed down the ladder to get onto the fire escape. So I'm telling him, so when I see this, I'm like, yo, you are bugging and you're on some shit. All I'm going to tell you is I don't give a what's going on. I don't give a what you're about to do. But all of these plants, I said, all these plants belong to me. The plants over there on that side, yeah, that's his fire escape. But those are my plants. So I don't give a shit what you're about to do. Don't touch my plants. And he was like,
nah, you good, you good.
And I was like, what the is going on? So next thing you know, I look at him and he goes past me, like, you know, I moved to the side so he could pass, and he goes past me and he starts to open the window. The window was not locked. So he opened the window and went into the apartment. So what I did next was I got on my phone and I texted the guy's girlfriend. We're going to call her, I don't know, cornball, I guess. So I text this cornball and I'm like, yo, somebody just broke into your man's crib. There's some dude here. Oh, that's what it was. When I opened the door asking him whatever it was, he asked me,
is D home?
And I was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh,
because he has my gaming console and I came to pick up my gaming console.
That's what it was. I forgot all about that. So I texted this cornball and I'm like, yo, there's some dude here banging on D's door talking about that D got his PlayStation or his Xbox. I can't remember which game console it was. I sent her that text and then I sent D a text. I was like, yo, I don't know where you at, but there's some dude that literally just went into your apartment through your window and he's in your crib right now. So if you're not home, you need to come home now. So I hear like rustling around because the walls in this apartment are like as thin as paper. If someone farts on the other side, you're gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I can hear like all of this like rustling around and shit being tossed and, you know, all types of shit. I'm like, what the is happening? And then I hear the guy walking towards the door. So I go to my door to the peephole and I'm looking. So I see him come out of the apartment and he's holding the Xbox or the PlayStation, whatever the that shit was, and he left. So I'm like, oh my God. So then I texted D again. I was like, yo, the dude just left and he left holding, you know, the Xbox or a PlayStation, whatever it was. And so nothing. I didn't get a response from either one of them, okay? And so I'm in the crib and I'm like, yo, that was crazy. Maybe like 15 minutes later, I hear the door open from D's apartment, right? So now I'm looking again through the peephole and I see D come out of his apartment and he's looking in the hallway, he's looking down the stairs, and he goes back inside. And I said to myself, oh, he was home the whole time. So the whole time that this guy was banging your door down, he was home. But he never once opened the door to address the situation. So he must have been inside hiding when the dude broke in through the window. And I was like, wow, que pendejo. This guy, if you knew this guy, he talked so tough. He walked around like he was gran mierda. And I'm like, oh, shit. But let me tell you something. This guy meant business. He did not come to play. He came to get his gaming console and he wasn't leaving without it. I was like, wow. So I will never forget this day because I could not believe that he hid in his own crib. And I said to myself, where did he hide? And I feel like he probably hid under the bed. Oh my God, a grown-ass dude hiding under the bed or maybe in the closet. I couldn't stop laughing because all I could do was picture this grown-ass dude, tall for no reason, hiding in the corners somewhere, shaking, scared to death. So, okay, fine. You don't want to open the door, fine. But this motherfucker broke into your at that point, I would think that, like, you know, you would want to be like, okay, now you're taking things too far. Fine, I was afraid because you were banging my door down, you came to shit up, but now you're breaking into my crib. That's a total different thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, stand your ground and defend your property and your things. I couldn't believe it. And so, yo, I had jokes for weeks after that. For weeks, I would knock on his door. One time, there was like a big storage container, like those big bins, and I stuffed myself in the bin. I told my sister, put the lid on and then put the bin in front of his door. So we put the bin in front of his door. I got into the bin. We closed the lid, and then I told her to knock on his door and then leave. So she did that. He opened the door. He sees the bin. And when he opens the bin, I popped up, like to scare the shit out of him. And he got so scared. It was hilarious. I did that 2 times to 2 different people. But like, that was a story of the time where motherfuckers broke into the crib next door, and instead of defending his home, he hid probably underneath the bed like a little and it was hilarious. So what's the moral of this story? Well, the moral of the story is if someone lends you their Xbox or their PlayStation and they want it back, just give it back. Don't try to steal their shit. So, like, you know how sometimes people will borrow something from you? Oh, can I borrow that shirt? Or can I borrow this thing? And then you never see it again. So that's the moral of the story. Don't borrow people's things if you have no intention on giving it back. And if the person comes to you to reclaim their property, give it to them. Because if not, they're going to break into your shit. Like this dude did. I'll never forget when I saw him coming down those stairs. At first, I thought it was a raccoon, you know, because the raccoons be out there. So I thought it was a raccoon. And then I see these legs coming down the ladder. And I'm like, oh my God, my plants. The first thing I thought was he's going to see the plants on D's side of the fire escape. And he's going to throw them overboard to make room because they were everywhere. And I remember I was there to defend my plants. I said, whatever you do, don't touch my shit because all these plants are mine. Listen, I'm a loyal, faithful plant mom, okay? You're not going to be with my plants. So if you like this video, you already know what to do. Like my shit. Subscribe to my channel if you've not yet already. And if you do subscribe, make sure to turn on the post notification bell so you could be alerted when I post videos in the future. All right, world. Thanks for watching. Bye.